Hey guys, my name is Ethan, this is Carberra. Welcome to the series where I teach you how to build a Discord.py for your server. Today, we're talking about creating a custom help command for our bot, because if we launch the bot immediately, we can see that it does indeed have a help command of its own. It already has one, so if that is fine for you, then you don't need to watch this video. However, the biggest... with Tutorialbot, poor old Tutorialbot, its biggest criticism was probably the fact that it used the default help command before. Nowadays it doesn't. Nowadays it has a embed help command like this. This was, as you can see, it was developed by a server member themselves. It wasn't developed by me. However, this is a very manual help command. We're going to be creating a somewhat less manual help command. We're going to be creating an auto-generated, embedded, paginated help command. We're not going to bother separating commands by cogs, because my god, I spent 4 hours doing this yesterday, and by the time I finished that, I was too pissed, because it was a nightmare. But I finally managed to work it out. We're using the Discord's ext menus thing, which as of version 1.3.3, aka the version that I'm running personally, needs to be installed separately. In a future version it might not be. I would recommend checking your version on that. I'm going to take a guess and say that 1.4 doesn't look as though it's going to have that integrated. I would say probably 1.5 for sure. If you're watching this a few months in the future, I imagine it would be in, but if you're watching this near when it comes out, then check the changelogs. So what we're going to do, I don't know why I came to the fun cog because we're not going to be using that, is we're going to create a new help. We're going to create a new cog called help. Help.py, or new file, help.py, and we're going to be doing a ton of stuff with this. There's a lot of code to get through in this video, so hold tight. This is probably going to be an extraordinarily long video as well, so I'll try and keep it moving as fast as possible. But of course I can't do that. Also, I should say, while I'm creating the main cog interface, that we're going back to the good old days of planned code. I actually have some code next to me here, because trying to do this off by heart, or trying to code this live was just a nightmare. Also, a quick introduction myself. To remove the default help command the bot has, simply do bot.remove command help. It's perfectly fine sitting in the initialization of the help cog, so I'd recommend putting it there just to make things a bit easier. But yeah, that's perfectly fine. But yeah, I'm pretty much just going to be copying some code that I have over on my left, over on my second screen. Don't hate me, but quite honestly, excuse my language, fuck doing it live. Oh god, because it actually sucks. All of it. Shut up, TV. I don't want you to turn off now. And then just getting to the end of our show. If you don't know what I'm doing, then look at the introduction to Cogs video. I think it's episodes 9, 10, 4, 17, whatever, I don't even know anymore. It'll be a card in the top corner probably, if I remember. If I haven't remembered, someone shout at me in the comments to put it up there, please, because I always forget these things. Cool, so that is our help cog shell done. Now we need a help command, so we can come down here and create a new command. Name equals help. Now if you don't remove the original help command, this won't actually work. It will throw up an error saying that the command has already been registered or something like that. All you've done there is you've either forgotten this line or you've put it in the wrong place. So I'd recommend just putting it there. That was me smashing my desk. Fantastic, I'm doing that a lot recently. Async def show help. I also would not recommend calling this command just help, because that is a very strong keyword in Python, and Python might end up getting quite confused. So we're going to take self context, and we're going to take a command, and we're going to set that as an optional string. And then we're going to say if command is none, pass, else pass again, because we're going to be making all of our stuff first before we actually do any of that. I might show you how to do. I might show you how to do help for a specific command first, because it's a lot easier. So I'm going to do that. So we can. Hang on, I need to work out what I need to import then. So we just come up to the top and we go from Discord .utils import get. Discord.utils has some really nice utilities, but we're not actually going to be using that many of them. So if our command get, so get essentially looks for a list and looks for something with that attribute basically. So we're going to be looking through our list, or it's technically a set of self.box.commands, looking for one with the name of the command that we pass through. So essentially command will then be set as a command object, which is a lot nicer. So we can await context.send embed equals self dot command help. We're going to be using a function for this. We're actually just going to do self.command help. Await, because it's probably just easier, and we're going to pass our context and our command over. If the command doesn't exist, we need to say that. So that command does not exist. Fantastic. So we need to come up into our help cog and we need to create our help command. That takes self, context, and oh my god, if I could type please, there we go, and our command. So create our embed using, because of course everything is doing everything that we're doing everything with embeds this time, because I got endlessly shouted at for not doing anything in embeds last time. I did the tutorial series, so we're doing everything in embeds. If you just type the command, that should work. I don't know, maybe just do a string command just to be sure. Although you could potentially, what I've done in the plan actually is I've done an f string with command init, and then done little backticks to kind of put it in whatever. I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. We could do help with command as well, that'd probably be a bit nicer. We can have our description as a function called syntax passes the command. We're going to be building that function in a second. That's a fun command to build. And then see text the author.color for our color, because it's nice to have a color, you know. And then we're going to have our embed.add field, description, or like command description. Well, it needs to be name equals command description, and then value equals command.help. Now this help attribute can be set in two ways. So every command has a help keyword here. I think it's help anyway. It might be long help or something, I'm not sure. You can just type it all in there. Or if you create a doc string, which is a you go into the function definition and you do three quotes like that. You could do shows this message, for example, and then this so shows this message will be set as command.help. There is another one called command.brief, which we're going to be using. That's supposed to use the first message of the first line, sorry, of command.help. For some reason that's not working in this version. I don't know why. So we're going to have to set brief using the other way. But we don't need to worry about that for now because we're just doing a main help command. So our syntax command. Our syntax command is the absolute arse, really. Is the biggest arse of them all. So we're going to be returning a huge f string. and we're also going to return it in triple quotes. So we'll have the triple quotes ready, and yeah, this is going to suck, so strap in. There's got to be a better way of doing this, but I don't know it. So the alias is, we're going to use a pipe, and we're going to join command.aliases. So the command.aliases is a list of all the command aliases. What that will do is return a, actually to be fair, I'm just trying to think. There's probably a better way of doing it, actually. There probably is. There's probably, if you do command or string command, sorry, then that'll probably be way nicer. So command and aliases. That's probably going to be way nicer, to be honest. So what we're doing there, because we're going to be hang on. We're going to be looking at it like this. So you have example and then alias like that. I'm going to set required optional. Pretty standard syntax. That's how you would normally do it. So what this is doing is it's creating a new list of the command and all of its aliases, putting it in one big array, and then creating a string using this pipe. Doing it like this, as opposed to the way I've done it in the plan, makes it way easier to work with, so that's very nice. And then we need a separate list called params, because we're going to be doing stuff with that. So for key value in commands, not command, the command.params, so that's a list of parameters. .items, if key not in self context, if you're not doing it with cogs and stuff, you don't need the self thing. But this basically just says just ignore these two, because it's always going to pick up these two and we don't care about them. And this next line is a botch, but honestly, by the time I wrote it, I couldn't be asked to work out the proper way of doing it. So params.append, this next line is going to work out whether or not it should put square brackets around or chevrons around the argument to show that it's required or optional. So what we're going to do is an f-string, have our key. So the key is the name of the parameter. Key if none type in, I think it's just string values. String value is this huge, it's a class declaration essentially. For optional commands, it will be a union of the type that you put in here and a none type, so it will look like this. That's what optional is converted to. And to my knowledge, nowhere else does none type work, if that makes sense. Or nowhere else would you ever use none type. So if the string value contains none type, it's probably optional, else it's probably required. I told you it was a botch. If someone knows a better way of doing that, then please let me know. But it must have been a solid hour on that alone, and by the time I got to that part, by the time I found that hack, I was so done. So we're just going to create another string that joins the parameters using spaces, and we're going to have our, I don't know what's going on there. We're going to have our command and aliases. Then we're going to have a space, and then we're going to have our params, and that is going to be our syntax. Now that looks a lot nicer in the plan. If we'd done it in the way I was going to do it in the plan, the string would have looked like this, which is horrific, so let's not do that. I don't actually know if that will work. I guess we can try it though, can't we? I think I've done everything now. Oh, we actually need to send the embed. That would be somewhat useful, I feel. Oh dear. And oh yeah, because I've had put this example everywhere. Cool. So if you run that now, we shouldn't get any syntax errors. We do get a syntax error. Optional is not defined. I haven't imported option from typing. God, actual damn it. So from typing import optional, there's always let's not delete the whole code, shall we? There's always an import that I forget. There we go. That's useful to me right now, computer. I want Discord, please. If you do help, oh no, help. It lags, oh my goodness. So as you can see, we got help with help. We have our syntax, so it's help, and then the command is an optional argument, and then the command description is the help, which we defined here. If we do anything, it might error if we try and do another one now. I might need to put an extra, oh no, it just says command description none. Okay, that's fine. So you can see with a slap command, because we have our slap, but it also has a hit, a keyword argument. Member is a required argument, but reason is an optional argument, so that's how that works. It does work, it does, it's questionable methods, but we also need, we're stuck, hang on, if we just run this again, we're stuck without an actual help command. We're stuck without a main help. It doesn't do anything. It just sits there. It does nothing at all. So we need to change that. So we're going to be using discord.ext.menus for this. The brand new thing that is not technically part of the main API yet, but is a side project alongside. And is also currently undocumented as of time of this, so have fun. You have the quick start and you have the source code, and that's about it. But at least I couldn't find any documentation. If someone can find some documentation at some point in the future, then put it in the description below, because not in the description, in the comments, because that'd be really nice. So from discord.ext.menus, we import menu pages and we import list page source. I told my Discord server that we weren't going to use the automatic pagination systems. However, I decided it's just going to be easier if I do it that way. You can do, there is all sorts of stuff you can do in menus. I will probably be doing other menus in the future that allow you to custom program the buttons. However, this list page source will be perfectly fine for your help command. So we actually need to go and create a new object. So if you come down here, class help menu, and that takes list page source as an inheritor or as a parent. Def init self. We're going to pass context into it manually. We're also going to pass data. We're going to set the context to be self-context context to be the context, because it doesn't take it automatically and it's useful to have. And then we're going to super init with data, and then we need to set a per page value. Now this per page value is the number of values that will be displayed, or the number of entries that will be displayed on the page itself. I'm going to set this to, I don't know how many commands I have, so I'm going to set it to 3 just to make sure I can show off the pagination systems. You can set that to literally any number you want. That will probably be a different number by the time the bot actually gets released. So we also need our right page. Well, we need 2 functions. The first is a helper function called def right page. It can be asynchronous. I'm just leaving it not asynchronous because there isn't a huge point. There are going to be people that are going to be angry at that, but they can do it. If you want to do it asynchronous, then go ahead. I'm just not bothering because there's no real point for something like this. Page menu entries. If you're doing it on a huge bot, it might, oh, you know what? I'm giving into peer pressure. It's an asynchronous function now. I can already hear everyone being angry at me. So this async def right page is something we're writing ourselves. This format page is actually something from the API, and it's something that is called automatically. So this is a very important thing. So we want fields. We want to tell the right page which fields to actually display on our embed. So for entry in entries, and we're going to be passing a list of the bot commands into here. No, we might as well just do for command in entries then. I mean, we can probably just call commands in all fairness. Yeah, screw it, why not? It doesn't really matter what it's called. That would ordinary no it does it's a tutorial series. It would normally be called entries. I'm going to call it entries, and I'm going to call this entry because otherwise it's going to confuse everyone, and I don't want that. So just call it entry. Call it bloody entry. Just for porting reasons. Or call it whatever you want. Alright, there we go. So fields.append. So what we want is our command help to be the actual name header of the field, I suppose, and we want our actual command syntax to be the value. A lot of bots do it the other way around. However, I can probably show you my bot actually. S4 going at it. Plug for S4, by the way, is a publicly available bot, albeit in early access. So we have our help command. This doesn't use Discord ext.menus, but this is how we're going to be formatting it basically. So we're going to have our so you can see. Oh no, let's you know what, this support one because that's an easy one to follow. So you have get a link to the S4 support server, and then we have support. This one, its aliases are listed on a separate line. We're not going to be doing that, but as you can see, we have this. We're also not going to be sorting it by cogs because screw that. Quite frankly, but yeah, we're going to be doing in that sort of a system. So we're going to be doing fields.append and then command.brief or no description. So if command.brief is set, and we do have to set this manually, I will show you how to do that. This video is already really long. Oh god. Then it will use that. However, if command.brief is none, it will default to no description. So that's just a little placeholder just to make sure it doesn't error. And then we want syntax. Oh, come on. And we do want a list of tuples, which is why we're appending a tuple and not extending or just doing anything else. And we also need to return self.write page menu fields. And then that's it. That's all we need to do for the format page. The rest is just formatting the embed. The menu help, the menu system just does the rest of it itself. Kind of nice. So what we want is we want an offset first. So this offset is going to be it's essentially the ID of the first entry that's been displayed, if that makes sense. So menu.current page is a thing. I don't know what the difference between self and menu is. I really don't know. The menu is just automatically passed into things, so that's just what I'm just following the example, guys. Sort of. This is a far more complicated example, but oh well. Dot +1 because it starts at 0. And then we want the length of our data. So we want len self.entries, which is just a thing that the that the help menu has. It creates something called entries, so you can use that. Then we want to make our embed. So embed equals embed title equals help, as it always is. Description equals welcome to Carberra. Welcome to the Carberra help dialog. And then we're going to make it a pretty color. We're going to have it self.ctx author.color like that. Then we're actually gonna set a thumbnail for this because we're feeling fancy. Of the URL, isn't it? URL equals ctx.guild.me.avatar URL. That just makes it look a bit nicer. And then we can actually set a footer. And I'm actually going to copy and paste this. Oh my god, I don't know what happened to my voice there because it's quite a long thing. Which is basically just a little nice utility string if you want. That basically shows, so this will say, on the first page it will say 1 to 4 of say 12 commands. So it's just a little nice thing to have at the bottom. This min len data thing, just make sure it doesn't say like 4 to 8 of 6 commands. It'll say 4 to 6 of 6 commands, or 5 to 6, or whatever it would be. And it does most of this itself. And then for name, value in fields, you want to embed add field, name equals name, value equals okay, I don't know why I made that an F string in the plan, but value equals value. Oh, I know why, because the way I originally did the syntax stuff. Okay, and we always want inline to be false. If you don't specify this inline to be true, and it will look like crap. And then we return our embed, and then we should. No, we won't. We need to do other stuff down here. So we need to actually create this thing. So we need to create a menu. We're going to call it, I guess, menu. You can call it pages. The example calls it pages. I suppose it kind of makes sense, but we're going to call it menu just to make things a bit easier. We're going to have menu pages. We're going to have a source, which is our help menu. So we create that help menu here, pass the syntax, and we pass a list of self.bottle commands, because that's originally a set, and sets cannot be subscripted or spliced. So you need to do that. What bracket is what? Or what parenthesis is what, I should really say. Then we're going to have clear reactions after equals true. If that's true, when the menu is stopped, when you hit the square stop button, it will clear all the reactions for you. I just realised you don't actually need that, because if delete message after equals true, it deletes the whole message, so we can actually get rid of that. If you want to keep the messages and get rid of the reactions, then go for it. I believe clear reactions after is automatically false. I know delete message after is automatically false. And then you can set a timeout, which is a number of seconds. This defaults to 180. I'm going to have it as 60. But make sure to put 0.0. For some reason with these timeout things, I don't know if it would affect this, but I know in other parts of the API it does. If you pass it through as an int, it won't work properly. If you pass it through as a float, it will. I have no idea why. I have no idea if I fixed the problem it actually was and just happened to change it to a float in the exact iteration. I don't know, but genuinely adding that 0.0 fixed the problem I was having with it from before in a different bot. Interesting, I think it was. Oh no, it wasn't a help command of the other bot. And then we use await menu.start, and then that will start all of this going. So that should be fine. This has been somewhat unpainful. Although compared to me actually trying to work all this out, yeah. Oh god, I got an error. What have we got? Function is no attribute brief. Oh, he messed something up. Function is no attribute brief. Well, where actually is that? Line 48. So this one here. Oh, I was too busy copying my bloody example. It's entry, not command. That's entirely my bad. That's a very stupid error on my part. So we now should be free from errors. Nope. What's wrong now? Send argument. Oh my god. Okay. Must be a mapping, not a none type. You know what I did? Damn await statements. Oh god. Oh, it's still erroring. It's a different error at least. Context is not defined. We've not passed context through properly. We haven't, no. Did I pass it through here? No, I didn't. What? Wait, what? CTX is not defined. Oh, no, that's poor form. That's very poor form. We'll get this eventually. We did it! We did it, look at this. So we have everything has no descriptions. I don't think anything has descriptions right now, no, because the brief don't work. I'll quickly show you how to make a command brief and then we'll run it out. So there's our thumbnail, very small, but it's there. And we have all our commands here. The only problem is that it reacts to reactions and unreactions. It does react to both, which is interesting. I feel as though the video has probably gone for too long to show you how to fix that. However, that could be something for you to do when you're working this out. If you hit stop, then everything will go away. I was actually going to make it so it was a single thing. A single backtick, not a triple one. See if we get away with that. Does that look better? I think that was worse, to be honest. I'm going to keep it a triple one. But yeah, that is how to make an auto-generated, embedded, paginated help command in Discord.py using the new Discord ext menu thing. I don't know what the bloody hell to call it. If you like the video, and say hello down below. If you have any questions, leave them down below as well, or feel free to join the Discord server in the description, ask them there. If you really like the video, consider subscribing and hitting the notification bell so you don't miss out on future episodes. If you really like the video, then consider supporting me on Patreon. You don't, of course, you don't have to, but it would be cool of you to do. I got that outro backwards. Hey. Next time we're doing, God knows what. My brain's dead. I'm taking a break after this. Custom prefixes. Some simple stuff. Oh my god. Yeah, I'll see you for that.